Hi friends, hello and welcome to another video. We are again with Cathy Zhang. She is the head of an accounting firm and a tax advisor. Now, I want to ask you, Cathy, what is your take on this current US-China tariff war?
Well, the US-China tariff war has been a long, messy battle, and right now it's hitting all kinds of industries hard. For Chinese exporters, higher tariffs means they are less competitive in the US, and American importers end up paying more, which usually gets passed on to consumers. It's like domino effect, and a lot of businesses are stuck in the middle.
So, what do you think is going to happen next?
It's tough to say for sure. In short term, politics in both countries will play a big role. We might see some temporary truces, maybe through talks that cut tariffs for certain products. But the core issues between the US and China, like tech competition and trade imbalances, won't go away quickly. In the long run, companies will likely look for more diverse trade options to avoid risks. New trade deals and groups like the RCEP will probably become more important.
Yes, these new groups around China, cooperating with them is very important. Now, what about the strategies that some companies are using? Like some of them are pausing shipments, some of them are storing in warehouses, others are moving assembly to the US or setting up factories overseas. Some are actually sourcing from other countries, and others are trying to split sales prices. What do you think is the strategy to follow here?
Well, these strategies show businesses are trying to adapt, but none are perfect. The first one, pausing US shipments can give companies time to rethink their plans, renegotiate contracts, or find new markets. But if they stop for too long, they risk losing customers. It's all about balancing short-term savings and long-term business. And also, storing goods in the US bounded warehouses is a smart move. It buys time for better market conditions and delayed duty payments, which helps cash flow. But they are storage costs, and they need to manage inventory well to avoid losses. And moving assembly to the US can cut tariffs as well. And some companies are taking it a step further by sending Chinese employees directly to the US for assembly work. On the surface, it seems like a cost-effective solution. Chinese workers may have the necessary skills and experience, and companies can avoid the high cost of hiring local US labor. Plus, they can maintain better control over the assembly process and ensure quality standards are met. However, this approach has its challenges. Work visas for Chinese employees are complex and time-consuming to obtain, and there may be worker limits. Cultural and management differences also pose problems. Understanding US labor laws and integrating into the local work environment isn't easy. Plus, there are tax implications in both countries, and compliance is the key. So, while it could cut cost, companies must thoroughly consider these factors first. And the fourth one, setting up factories overseas is a good way to diversify. Areas with lower tariffs like Southeast Asia under the RCEP are popular choices. But it takes a lot of upfront investment, and companies need to understand local rules, build supplier relationships, and find good workers. And the fifth, splitting sales prices can be an effective tax strategy. For example, separating service fees from product prices or using the first sale rule. But it's a tightrope walk. One wrong step and they could face customs audits, fines, or reputation damage. That's where we come in. We help clients make sure they are following the rules and documenting everything properly. And then, number 6, changing the places of origin through compliant transshipment is possible, but demands careful handling. Companies must ensure substantial transformation in the third-party country, like advanced manufacturing or significant value-added work, rather than just minor changes. Documentation is key. Detailed records of sourcing, production, and value-added activities prove the origin change is legitimate during customs checks. Firms also need to stay on top of rules in the source, transshipment, and destination countries, as origin requirements vary. Partnering with reliable locals in the transshipment country helps with legal compliance, production, and customs communication. Though complex, compliant origin changes via transshipment can effectively manage tariff costs. Bottom line, there's no one-size-fits-all solution. Our job as tax advisors is to help clients make the best decisions for their business, finances, and long-term goals. We use our expertise in tax planning, financial analysis, and compliance to help them to cut losses and grab new opportunities in this crazy trade environment.
That is right, Cathy. This tariff war is actually something that is putting a lot of stress in all the global supply chains.
Right, yeah.
And knowing how to take these opportunities becomes extremely important for anyone doing business in China or with China. However, I would like to ask you a final question, like a personal idea. Do you think there's going to be some kind of agreement? We see China doing agreements with Japan, South Korea. We see China doing agreements with Europe. We have the CELAC meeting. All the Latin American countries coming to Beijing, probably to negotiate some kind of trade deal. Do you think this is going to be forever, or are we going to reach a point where this is going to go away?
I definitely believe there will be some agreement to be reached to between China and the U.S. Like in this weekend, the China's vice premier is going to meet with the Treasury Secretary
President
from
in Switzerland.
Yes. We hope they can reach to some deal.
Yeah, we normally do videos that are more educational, as in long-term kind of videos where people actually learn about how to do business. But this is a very sensitive video, so it's time important for us to make video. I've been asking you to sit down and talk to our audiences about this particular topic, because people can wait until there's a solution, or they can take action right now, or they can just wait until there's another precedent and there's a different situation. But for those of you who are in the middle of doing business right now in China and dealing with the situation, your information is extremely important. So quite a few points to consider, quite a few opportunities for you to deal with in this particular scenario of the US-China tariff. So Cathy, thank you so much for your time, for your expertise. If you guys have any questions or you have any doubts or anything that you would like to know more, make sure to follow Cathy. There's an email that we're going to put over here where you can actually contact her directly, and she can help you with your queries regarding this issue. And well, Cathy, until we see you guys again, take it easy and bye for now.
Bye.